Hello everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. A big welcome to everybody today. For those of you that have been following me right since the start, maybe the last few months, the few weeks, and also the people that are joining us from around the world over the course of the last few days. Now, if you haven't already shared with us where you're from, we do love to know, so please add a note in the comments. We've now got people that are following this channel from all over America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, India. I always worry that I'm going to miss somewhere out. All across Europe, many different places. So thank you so much for supporting me and encouraging me. I absolutely love hearing that some of you are motivated by me and encouraged, because in turn I'm motivated and encouraged by all of you, your comments and your support. So thank you very much. Just like I always do, the first few videos show what you're going to see in this video. So you'll see me sorting out some washing, sorting the kitchen, sort of a specific area which always gets built up with lunch boxes. You'll see me doing a little bit of work in the dining room, really in preparation for going away with Guides Camp. So I've talked about this before, but Guides Camp was first organised, well, it was planned from around February. But then, of course, I had the Fiat 500 charity convoy that I was organising. Then we went on holiday and it's got crept up, which has meant that some of the things have felt very last minute. Although I do the camp with other guide leaders, a lot of the planning has fallen down to me. Now we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute in terms of my weekend and sort of ask you how your weekend has been. But before I do, I wanted to mention that I had some really nice news the other day. So those of you that have been following my channel for a while will know that one of the followers is called Holly. She lives in the United Kingdom and she has been following my channel for quite some time. And Holly was expecting a baby. And there were sort of a few difficulties where she didn't always feel that well during the pregnancy, and sometimes we'd sort of have discussions about it, and other people that follow the channel would ask about her. And then I let you all know that she had a beautiful baby boy. So that was all very exciting. She's got other children as well, so they were all excited to welcome a little brother into the family. Holly and I have got quite a lot in common. Holly attends church regularly and has got similar sorts of views to myself on a number of different things. And she sent me a beautiful photograph, a really lovely picture of her son, which I really appreciated. And then after the pregnancy and the birth, Holly then was not well for a period of time, and of course was trying to feed the little baby as well as ensure that she was completely 100% health-wise. Well, Holly messaged me the other day. So the little boy, her son, is now 5 months old. She sent another photograph to me, and honestly, you know when you look at your own if you look at your own child and you look at your family, you know, like my sister's children, etc., you know, you look at them and think, oh, like they're beautiful, don't you? Oh, what cute little boy. Isn't he handsome? What a beautiful little girl. Isn't she pretty? But you don't always see that in other people's children, do you? But this picture that she sent me, he's sitting up at 5 months on her sofa and he looks like such a handsome little chap. I messaged her back and said, does he look like you or does he look like your husband? Because he really is a little dear. So I wanted to share that news with you because it really pleased me when I got that email, and to hear more about, you know, how Holly is and what's going on. And it just seems incredible that 5 months have passed. Really does. There really was such lovely news. So you can see that I'm in the kitchen. I've videoed this in a slightly different angle because a couple of you commented about the same angle in the kitchen, so I thought I'd change the angle slightly. Yes, that corner section has built up a little bit. You can see the basket is overflowing and there's a few other things that just get kind of placed on the ends. But what I do in this, so there's 2 problem areas well, there's probably more than that, but the two problem areas that I see at the moment in the kitchen is the end of the kitchen work surface, because everybody in the family dumps things on that corner, including me. And then the corner where the toaster is, next to the draining rack, because I'm the only one who ever puts lunch boxes away. So we don't very often wash up. Sorry, correction. We don't very often wipe up. In fact, we almost never wipe up. That means that when my husband goes to wash up, he does do some washing up, he will take everything off the drying rack and pile it in the corner. Now, the fact is he's doing the washing up, so I'm not going to complain, but we do need to get into the habit of putting those things away. Now, why don't we, you might ask? It's because the storage for lunch boxes is not, it's, again, like I talked about before, it's not about the people, it's about the processes. Let's blame the processes, not let's blame the people. So our processes, our systems. I've got 2 plastic containers that have lunch boxes and plastic bottles in, and that storage isn't really sufficient. Some people have said cut down, you've got too many lunch boxes, get rid of some, but we do use lunch boxes, including smaller little tubs, a lot for my daughter. So if we take lunch out and about, she might have 3 or 4 little lunch boxes. So we do use them. You can see also I'm putting everything away from the supermarket, which is a job, I've got to say, I really dislike. I nearly said hate. I don't like the word hate. I really dislike doing it. But it's something you're forced to do, isn't it? Unlike other jobs I dislike, such as putting washing away, it's funny, they're both putting things away that I dislike. Putting washing away, that can just be left with no big impact, apart from needing to climb over things. Whereas if you don't put food away, the food just goes off, and then you've wasted money, and I don't like waste, as many of you know. So yes, you'll see me do work in the kitchen, and then you'll see me sweeping up at a different angle. So there's always bits on our floor. And as I said many months ago to you, when we were talking about the floor that we originally wanted to put down, my mother-in-law said, don't get plain black. It will show every piece of speck of dust or speck of hair. Well, of course, I wanted to do what I wanted to do at that point, didn't I? And I didn't listen to mother-in-law, which is one example of when I should have. Because every single little crumb, hair, anything shows up on the floor. And literally, I could sweep it twice a day and it still would never look clean. So at the moment in the video, you can see that corner section that I just mentioned about. See, whereas you've got all the things next to the plate, all piled up, and then you've got some other things that need to be put away. Ketchup, it's a bottle of Malibu that I only tend to have Malibu probably once a month. I have a glass of, not a glass of Malibu, I have a glass of like Dr. Pepper with Malibu in it. But that has just been left out. And the reason why that's been left out is the pantry has got into a bit of a muddle again. So there isn't actually, the home for the Malibu isn't in existence anymore. So that's why it's not been put away. I do put it away, but I need to sort out the pantry. And, you know, that will be layer 3. And at layer 2 of the pantry, I said, oh, I can be a lot more ruthless and get rid of things. I think layer 3, I really need to think to myself, haven't literally used this in 10 years, why have I got it in here? I think there's one item that I won't be able to say that, and that's something that we were given that was my husband's granddad's, and that's got his name engraved in it. And we were obviously given it because no one else in the family wants it, and because we end up taking everything into our home. Not anymore, but that's what did used to happen. And it's an ice bucket. And I know my husband definitely wouldn't want to get rid of it. And perhaps what we should do is actually think about using it. So that when people come round, like for birthdays, and they want ice, we will have that on the table. They can lift the lid up and they can help themselves to the ice. And then that will mean that it's actually got a use. And I know my husband's mum would like to see that on the table. So we'll have to think about that. I just feel like the kitchen, I don't know, a couple of people have said, well, you've always got to do the kitchen. I do get that, but where I'm always a bit disappointed is I go into other people's houses at any time and the kitchen would be tidy and clean. Even as they were cooking, probably wouldn't be the same sort of state as what my kitchen is, but I don't know. I keep on trying. That's the thing. I think you keep, like I said before, if you keep on trying, it's like, even if it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, then you are still moving forward. That's the way I look at it. So it might be slow progress, but you're still moving forward. So I had some good news today. Those of you that have been following me a long time will remember that I talked before about some of the things that my daughter's old school wanted to teach very young children about. I didn't go into a lot of detail, but I would term it as being explicit, totally inappropriate. And when I looked at some of the lesson plans, I really thought, I am deeply concerned about the person who's written these, knowing that it's not like some sort of task or game for adults, that children of 9, 10 are going to be asked to do these activities. I really felt very strongly it was a safeguarding issue. And many of you will know that I did pray about this. And I felt very strongly that I was being told to persist. Not just in terms of protecting my own child, but in terms of protecting others, either whose parents didn't want to speak out, couldn't speak out, for various reasons. And I found out from the charity that supported me, it was a Christian charity that supported me, they sent me an email the other day saying, oh, this might be a distant memory, Emma, but we wanted to give you an update. And they sent me a link to a speech that was made by a lord in the House of Lords. And this man has pushed for improvements and changes for years to protect children, and also to ensure that politically focused topics are not discussed in school, and that school is a place of education, of teaching factual information and not teaching contested theories. And he actually talked about me and talked about the particular lessons that I was unhappy about. Well, not all of them. He gave a few examples to the other lords and ladies. And I thought, my goodness, these people who are so focused on good, and like I felt really determined that I had to keep on, and clearly he feels the same way. And so to feel that way in terms of protecting children made me feel quite emotional, to think that there are people that will put their head above the parapet. And so many people turn away. So many people look away. They don't want the confrontation. They don't want to get involved. They don't want to be the difficult person or the difficult parent. And I really felt, I'm very pleased I persisted with that. So for those of you that have been following me for a while and knew about the sort of stresses and upset to do that, sort of a bit of progress there, which was very positive. So I'm going to go through some of your comments now. So a massive thank you for those of you that take the time and the thought and the kindness to add comments. I really, really love reading them, and I feel really touched when people make a point of adding comments to my channel. It is really, really kind. So the first comment was Faith D. Faith says, I was excited to see the fabric chair leave the dining room. Space to live and breathe is necessary. Great job. Thank you, Faith, for sharing that. Dulcie Rose says, hi, Emma, you're so much more organised than before. I love listening to your stories. It's very interesting. I have anxiety and borderline agoraphobia, so I don't get out much, and it's like listening to a friend. Oh, thank you for sharing that with me. That's a very personal thing to share. And I really appreciate the fact that you had the strength to actually share that with me and your other friends that are on this channel. I'm glad you find the stories interesting. I'm very sorry to read that you have anxiety, and I'm very sorry to read that you have kind of the elements and kind of inclination connected to agoraphobia. That must be very, very difficult. Very difficult. And I think it's something that's really not understood. And people really are not supported in the way that they should be. I feel like often with this sort of thing, people are quite dismissive about it. Well, just go out and you'll be fine. Or, what do you mean anxiety? Why are you anxious? They don't really understand, and they don't know what to do in terms of dealing with those symptoms. Very, very hard. I'm sorry that you're going through that. Deja Grenage says, hello, beautiful Emma. Oh, you were doing amazing. Keep on moving forward. Stacey from Virginia. Oh, thank you. Zoe Posner. Hello, Zoe. Zoe says, happy belated birthday to Mini Emma. I hope you all had a lovely time. Well done, Emma. You were doing an awesome job. Sending love. And Zoe has sent me some autumn leaves and a little autumn toadstool, which you've reminded me. It's the time of year which it would be very good to go to Holt Country Park in Norfolk, where it's full of mushrooms and fungi. And we've not been to Holt Country Park for quite some time. Thank you for that, Zoe. Louise Tilbrook says both meals sound nice. Yeah, I thought so too. And then Holly wrote, I wish I could just come over and sit and have a coffee with you and a chit chat whilst you do it all, Emma. I'd love to help. Your house always looks so cosy. You're doing amazing. So it was so nice. Holly said, everything's been so busy, and a new mum does not have the same amount of time to be able to sit down and watch YouTube. But Holly's been watching a couple of the videos fairly recently. So thank you for sharing that, Holly. When you visit Norfolk, bring the children to Norfolk. You'll have to let me know. Barbara Palmore says that corner with your floor lamp looks so great. I've been doing a fall declutter and have donated 4 bags and boxes of glass and china, and it feels great. Well done, Barbara. That's really, really good. And thank you for sharing. I'm really pleased to hear that. Well done. Oh, I did laugh. I'm now watching this back as I do the voiceover, and I've completely forgot that I was doing that pose on one leg. So see whether you can all do it at home. And if you can't, with practice, I promise you will improve. It's very good for your core strength. Even some of my followers are much older, so they're in the 80s. I'm not sure who the oldest follower is, but I've got some people in their 80s that follow me. So I'm not suggesting that you stand on one leg and do what I was just doing, but any sort of core strength exercises are really very important for muscles, particularly for us women. Now, I did want to talk to you a little bit about charity money. And for the month of October, most of you will be aware that anything that I earn from ad revenue, I don't get much at all from my channel. It's a bit of a myth when people say that some people say, oh, you must get hundreds and hundreds. Absolutely not. I don't get much, but what I do get, minus taxes, I'm going to give to this charity. Now, I have to take the tax off, and the tax is unknown because I'm not quite sure what my tax bill is going to look like for this month, for this year. Done the tax returns and waiting for my accountant to let me know. So I do have to take a bit off of that. Those of you that live in the United Kingdom will know how heavily taxed we are. We're taxed when we walk out the door, taxed to breathe, taxed everywhere and anywhere. I said to my manager the other day, I honestly feel like I go to work in order to pay tax into the system, which you don't mind paying into core services, but it's very high, I feel, in the United Kingdom. Anyway, I will have to take some money off of that, but I got this lovely, lovely message from the man to do with this teddy charity. So for those of you that listened to my video the other day, I'm going to give it to a charity that purchases and delivers teddy bears all around Norfolk for children who are in, quite difficult situations. So, for example, there might be a child that's gone into accident and emergency, really upset, really distressed, and the hospital staff are empowered to go and get one of these teddies and give it to the child. And that can bring so much comfort and so much happiness and joy, not just to the child, but also to parents and carers that are there in that very difficult situation. And that's what happened to us 5 years ago. My daughter was admitted to hospital through accident and emergency with an asthma attack. At that point, she couldn't speak because her breathing was so bad, and she was on oxygen. And the nurse went off, got this teddy, came back. At that point, my daughter couldn't say much, but you could see in her face she was really happy. And then I never forget her saying, "Does this mean that I can actually keep this teddy?" And so I messaged this man to say about how my channel is only small, but this is what I would like to do. And it also turns out that he knew my friend and work colleague who died a couple of years ago, who actually had helped this charity for the teddy bears. And when I posted on my Facebook account a picture of my daughter with a teddy bear, he commented and put, "I'd like to know about the teddy." And when I dug a bit deeper with him, he then shared he knew all about them and he had supported the charity himself. So the man has said to me that per teddy bear, I think they cost like about £2.80 each. Now, my channel, looking at it over the last few months, so I want to share information with you. I kind of feel like some channels do talk about money, some don't, but I want to be open. So in June, my channel made £40.69, and then I have to take tax off. In July, because I was on holiday and I didn't hardly do any videos, it was £23.63. It went up a bit in August to £74.78. In September, so far, £83.80. Now, I've said to him, I'm hoping my channel will be about £60, which if I get the same amount in October as what I am in September, I'm hoping that it will be maybe a little bit more. And then I need to do the maths, and then we can work out how many teddy bears we're actually able to purchase, which will be delivered to children in distress in different situations across hospitals, accident and emergency centres across Norfolk. So I'm really excited about that, and I love the fact that so many people support me in this. So if you are willing, don't feel obliged, but I would very much appreciate you watching the adverts for a little bit longer. If you watch them for a little bit longer, I think someone said before you have to watch them for 30 seconds. And then that means that I get a very, very small amount, and that all adds up. And then hopefully we'll have a decent amount of money for that charity. So I am excited about that, and thank you for those of you adding lovely comments about, it's good to support a local charity, and it's good to support something in Norfolk, and it's good to support children that are in difficult sorts of situations. So that's really, really kind of you all. So thank you very much for that. As I also do this voiceover, for those of you that are in the United States, your president has been in the United Kingdom, and I'm interested to know what kind of coverage you get on that. Now, I absolutely acknowledge that some people will be a fan of the royal family, some people won't. Some people will be a fan of Donald Trump, and some people won't. And I always avoid things that are political, because I don't want people to be disappointed or upset, or, for there to be disagreements on the channel. But what I wanted to say was, I saw and heard some clips of the United States president talking about Great Britain, and I thought, really, what lovely things were said. Really said some really lovely things about our country, about the people that live here, I do like the royal family, and so the things that he said about my king, about Prince William, he's not Prince William now, there is he, and Princess Catherine, I really thought that is lovely and so very, very respectful. It looked like an amazing meal that they had, and I was very interested to see who was invited and to see like what Princess Catherine was wearing. I thought she looked beautiful, that lovely, lovely dress that she was wearing. And then I know she was wearing some items that were our late Queen's. So that was really nice to see, and also see what other royal family members attended the meal. And it looked like the United States President really enjoyed the experience. So I thought that was lovely, the things that he said about our country. Okay, so next comments that I wanted to read is Shira Tam. Hi Emma, I love seeing your progress. Regarding the washer, when someone has taken it apart, it's unlikely a tradie will touch it, as they don't know how it's been damaged with the attempted repair. Putting it back in situ would be a great idea. And that's exactly, as you all know now, what my husband did. He dragged it back, connected it all up, and put it all back together, which he did a great job with. However, given the time wasted thus far, is replacing it an option? I hear your frustration in dealing with it. We need to know our own limits. Good luck. I hope the issue is resolved. Thank you very much for your comments. And of course, thankfully, I did get it fixed. It cost me £130 to be fixed, which I was relieved about. And it has taught me a lesson that I need to be very, 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 very careful what is in the pockets. I'm the only person that checks pockets. No one else checks the pockets when clothes are put into the laundry bin. So I do feel responsible because no one else does it. It falls to me. And obviously there was like a small nail, there was a coin and a piece of metal that had somehow I had not checked sufficiently. So I did feel upset about that. And I have emphasised to everybody else, well, we do need to make sure that we don't leave tissues, etc., pieces of metal in our pockets. But I've taken that as my responsibility. The chances are that nail was in my jeans pocket. And I'd picked it up from like another house, or I picked it up from the floor because I was worried that someone was going to stand in it along the path on the road. And then I forgot, and it went into the wash. So £130 to be fixed. Hopefully it will live a bit longer. That washing machine is around £600 and it's not really that old. So I really did want to avoid buying another one if I could. So let's hope it lasts for some time. Next comment is from Livin SJI. And they said, hi, I'm a new subscriber. I've been enjoying your videos. Great job on the decluttering. Oh, thank you. I live north of Seattle, WA. I would suggest pairing the Grand Canyon with Santa Fe and Taos. Never been to Taos, but have been to Santa Fe. If you have even more time, add Palm Springs. I would suggest Yellowstone over Yosemite, if you only did one, as at least four days for either. Yellowstone is next to the Grand Tetons, which is phenomenal. We talked about Yellowstone before. I think I would love it. For great wildlife, you might consider a cruise to Alaska out of Seattle. Spectacular. Wow. Some cruises stop at Victoria or Vancouver, Canada, which is also great to see. Good luck with your shed clean out. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to add that. Some of those places sound absolutely amazing, and although you're new, you already know the sort of thing that I love. I think I would really enjoy Yellowstone. I might have a look to see whereabouts that is in relation to airports, because when my husband, as you now know, by the time you listen to this video, when he started looking at flights, the cheapest for the three of us, it was going to be $4,500, which is just too much money, I feel. But then, there's other places. I know someone recently, they're going to, well, they've booked to go to Florida in October. And they're paying $1,200 for 3 people. So you can clearly get flights much, much cheaper if you're lucky. So it's Sunday evening as I record this, so I hope you've all had a lovely weekend, and you will see that the last few clips on my video, they show me preparing for camp, and then you see me with my guide uniform on, and I'm doing all the washing when I got back from camp. So the summary is that everything went really, really well. We had 19 girls on camp. Unfortunately, one of them was absolutely full of cold and got progressively worse through the first evening, and also had stomach pain. So she had to go home. She was quite sad about having to go home. But everybody else had a fantastic time. We made these really lovely birdhouses. We did a scavenger hunt, which I had put together, which all the girls really enjoyed, and then I'd organised some small prizes. All the games were organised by myself, so I did the parachute, got the big parachute out, so they had fun with that. I also do a lot of the food, and obviously I organised all the activities and booked it, etc, etc. But one of the other leaders that I do this with, she sorts out like the finance side of things, and she will get really stuck in with cooking of the food and preparing of the food. So that's good. But there's no doubt that it is really tiring. It's really exhausting. You just want everything to go well. You want everything to run smoothly. I do think sometimes my nature, because I want to kind of control things and I want things to work and I want things to go well, sometimes I overplan. But because I overplan, then things do turn out well, thankfully. I mean, the birdhouses that they've made are really lovely, and the painting that they've done on them, really, really nice. So I'm pleased. So how did your weekend go? I hope you had a lovely weekend, or depending upon when you're watching this, I hope you've had a lovely week. So thank you very, very much for watching my video. I end the video, as you will see, with a short clip of the river where I was camping in the little huts, and also a little pathway which you can see has got a tower for climbing, and it's absolutely full of trees and shrubs. Really, really beautiful. So thank you for watching my video, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.